Hey guys, Braden with Outdoor Manly here. Today bringing you a special in-depth, little exclusive, I guess, from CRKT, Columbia River Knife Tool. And today we're here with Ben, the long-lost Ben.
That's right.
He is gone, but not forgotten, no.
Gone,
Anyways,
but my spirit lives on, maybe?
he strives, and still is kicking in the industry. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about some of what CRKT has to offer, in case you guys are interested in CRKT. They released a ton of products at SHOT Show 2015 that I'm like super stoked about. And we're going to talk about some of those, and we're just going to talk about CRKT as a company, why you might want to go with CRKT for your knife, tool, accessory needs. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of keep it real, and let's give it over to Ben.
Let's do it.
All right, man. So what do we got today?
We're here at the headquarters. I'm gonna just like sit on the table.
Dude, do it.
Because that's what I want.
I'm feeling it.
So let's talk first about the company. CRKT, we're located in Tualatin, Oregon, outside of Portland, Oregon, and we create knives and tools. Let's start with this one. It's classic M16 14 SFG. Now, here's how this works. We go to designers, or designers come to us, and they say, hey, CRKT, here's my design. So this is a Kit Carson design. He's the designer on it. And we basically replicate their tools. So this one is one of our more popular ones. It's got our auto locks on it. But that's the whole gig here at CRKT, is we're all about taking these designers' designs and making them affordable for the everyman. I had a guy comment on Facebook the other day, thanks for making knives that even grunts can afford. And I think that's the mentality, is you can go out and you can buy a $150 knife, but you have to factor in how many tears am I going to have when I lose that $150 knife, or it gets lost in the sand, or whatever. So we make affordable tools. And if you have questions, Braden, at any time, you just...
No, absolutely. I mean, I on that note, I think also, for me, a huge thing, so let's talk about like Chris Reeve knives, for example. He uses like phenomenal materials, but for the cost, how many knives can you get? And as you know, and I mean, to extrapolate on that, how many Moras can you get, right? Or how many M16s can you get? M21s can you get? And that's kind of my point of view, because these people, lust after these ridiculous knives. They don't ever use them, and the difference in which, the actual knife is actually being used, the performance gap is going to be so minimal that's going to have to justify $150 to $250, and that's kind of where I see CRKT fitting in.
Yeah.
So kind of talk a little bit more about some of the blades that are kind of more popular amongst sales, stuff like that.
Sure. Absolutely. Let's talk about this one real quick. This is the Fossil by Flavio Acoma. Now, this is a perfect example of a custom knife that we created as a production version. It's got IKBS in the pivot, so that's a ball bearing system there in the pivot. It's going to open smooth, open fast. It's got VEF serrations, a G10 overlay, handle scale. Just a super comfortable knife, as well as very, very useful. And I think this is a good example of the sort of thing that we do. We take a good design and make it available for the masses. I think this one runs, you can find it for about $60, more or less, in that range.
No, so on camera, I want this to be said. Does CRKT pay me or affiliate me or give me anything at all?
You're just standing in our shop.
Like
that's it.
The only thing that they've given me is like domicile for like an hour. So
and we might kick you out at any time.
Okay, it's totally fair. You probably will have to. These VEF serrations, kind of, I guess, to totally get off topic, not too off topic. These VEF serrations, I actually definitely recommend. I don't like the super toothy ones because they just tend to tear and make a big fray mess. These ones are actually almost like a couple different knife tip points. That's all they are, and they're just kind of inserted into the blade. I'm a fan. I wish more people did their serrations like that, so rant over.
Very good. So that was a new model last year, and we came out with a smaller version of this one this year. Taking a look at this one, this is kind of a classic. Ken Onion Shenanigan is what it's called. You've got a glass reinforced nylon handle, lightweight, and that's, again, this is a worker's knife. This is the kind of knife that a dude can afford. And if they lose it, if their brother steals it, which we hear that happens every now and then, they can buy another one. It's not going to break the bank.
Yeah.
So there's another good example. I just pulled a whole bunch of boxes out of here, and so let's see what else we got here. This one's called the GSD by Leon Ma.
Leon.
Pretty sweet knife. AUS 8 blade on this one. You got IKBS in the pivot, stainless steel handle, and again, this is one that just looks and feels like a custom. Just a beautiful EDC knife, deep carry or a tip-up carry pocket clip on it, reversible for right or left-handed carry. Solid blade. Again, working with the designers, we're able to craft these pieces that really look good, they feel good, and they come in at an affordable price.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
I mean, so let's just say you're into custom knives. Let's say that you like nicer materials. You love titanium going on. It's not that CRKT doesn't offer, higher end knives or anything like that. Not to say that these knives are lower end in any means, but you're going to need a knife to go through packages. You're going to need a knife to do the things that you don't want your fancy knife to do, because you're losing, every time you use that knife, you're losing $20 to $50 sometimes. Especially the customs, man. I personally don't see the value in custom knives. They look cool. There's a whole bunch of cool factor in the essence of them. But as far as functionality and utilitarianism, I think that's where it suffers. And if you get down to the core of EDC, it's not about looking. I mean, there's a lot of people that look good, but I mean, compared to the rest of the world, when you have a pocket knife on you, it kind of makes you look like a weirdo sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean,
in all honesty,
depending on where you're at.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. And I mean, so you got a flashlight, you got your multi-tool, you got your knife. That's going to make you kind of look different. Yeah. So for me, it just doesn't go along with my idea of EDC to have some crazy, expensive blade, unless of course the quality is shown in the price. But all these blades come in at an awesome value. Yeah. That's the thing. That's why I've always liked CRKT. I told a couple people, a couple of my family members, I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna go check out CRKT today. They're like, oh dude, I love their knives. I used it as a pry bar one time. Obviously you're not supposed to, but
don't use our knives as a pry bar.
There you go. But anyways, you're not supposed to, but it works, man. And if you bust the tip out, buy another one.
Yeah. Ken Onion said it. I think he said it really well. He said CRKT makes the best $39 knife. Dude. And I think that's, when you get down to it, we are the convergence of your quality, your value, and your good design.
Yeah.
And
not only that, but keeping it homegrown too,
Yep, and I think we should make that point too. We're located in Oregon. Yeah, we make overseas. A lot of our knives come from overseas. We make in the U.S. as well as in Italy, El Salvador. But this is a U.S. company. Our profits don't ship to Finland. They don't ship to Japan.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to knock on anybody in the industry, but this is a U.S. company employing U.S. workers, lawyers, doctors,
dentists.
And
I mean,
everything stays here. So I think that's a cool concept.
Not only that, but I mean, to be able to hit the price points that they do, you have to have the steel, especially like AUS 8 or 8CR. Or just any of the CR3, CR, whatever the case is. All those budget steels, the affordable steels, inexpensive steels, are going to be made overseas, because it's going to save you quite a bit of money, and it's going to let them be able to market that stuff, to be more appealable to you, because nobody wants $100, some cold steel $100 8CR13 MOV knife. That's crazy. Yeah. Why would I pay $100 when I can go and get, some other blade made of VG10 or something like that for less? So.
Yep. Totally. Let's take a look at this one. This is a good example of innovation as well.
I'm digging this one.
Yeah. So this is called the No Time Off. It's a Flavio Acoma design. It's got a BD1 steel on it. That's a carpenter steel. And the thing that's unique about it is it's got this ILS lock on it, Acoma lock safety. So it's a typical locking liner, but when you push over on it, it's not going to close until you pull down on that elbow, push over, and close the knife. So it adds one more layer of security to the knife, just to keep your fingers safe. That's one thing. We have our auto locks on this knife. It's basically auto locks, but in a different position. But we're all about safety, value, keeping your fingers safe. So,
well, dude, and
cool blade.
a lot of things I feel like that CRKT is based around like the working man. You know, I mean,
blue collar. I mean, your working man doesn't have $100 to go blow on.
No, and I mean, if anything, if he had $100, he'd go buy like a case of brews, or he'd go buy like, you know what I mean? He'd pay rent or something like that. He doesn't have time or money to spend researching and going through all this kind of stuff, and that's another reason why I like CRKT. Is just, you know, if you're looking for a knife, they have all the genres, you know, and it's here, man. It's in Oregon. You're putting money right back into our country, so that's me.
Yep. Good stuff.
And they gave me this freaking sweet name tag, so yeah.
Oh, let's
all right,
see.
so let's bust in here.
We got. You talked about the fixed blades.
Yes.
And, so I wanted to pull this one out. This is called the Yukanto by James Williams, and
Yukanto.
I know you're kind of outdoor manly, but this is more
we
outdoor.
keep it manly and outdoors here.
Manly tactical.
Yeah.
You've got a James Williams design G10 handle, AUS 8 blade. It's powder coated. This is basically designed for special forces, military. It's going to work well.
Yeah. And I mean, dude,
in tactical situations, I mean, defending freedom.
And if anybody abuses a blade, it's going to be them. You should check out, I mean, you know, you guys all, I'm probably aware of Tyler. He does all the Blade HQ videos, or T-Jack's his name now. He freaking thrashes on blades, and he showed me some that he used overseas, and they were just destroyed. Just completely destroyed. So, I mean, the price point at which something like this, which would typically from, you know, or like Benchmade or something like that. Let's just say Benchmade.
You said
to name drop. He didn't say it. Yeah, totally me. Well, since nobody pays me, I can say whatever I want until you guys pay me. If Benchmade were to make something like this, and even if it were the same materials, you guys are paying for the name. CRK, I don't feel like does that. Benchmade blades are expensive. That's just how they are. So, yeah.
So good stuff. This is a cool little knife too, because the sheath is designed to fit into molly gear. So
it has a little tail on it.
Yep, that slips right into your molly gear, and then you just lock it in. So,
dude, that's pretty slick. I did not see that before.
Super solid little blade.
Oh, sweet.
What else have we got today? I think I pulled that one for fun. Taking a look at some paracord stuff. Here's the deal, too. We are a knife company, knife and tool company. So we're all about innovating and looking at how can you do things differently. So you've got your typical paracord bracelet here. Pretty popular design. But then what we did is we said, you know, some people have different size wrists. You've got different sizes of people. And so what we did is we threw this little innovation on there. It's basically an adjustable paracord bracelet, so you can have it big, you can suck it in, and get it a little smaller, however you like. So that's the thing, is we do make knives and tools, but we're also looking at how can we innovate within what's already existing. So
yeah, I mean, and with gear, especially with gear, not just blades and stuff like that, but with gear that you wear. So, for example, here's my custom little paracord bracelet that I made. Okay, so it's the fishtail weave, I think is what it's called, and for me to make that, I mean, I got a lot of, I don't know if you can even call it that, but it's just paracord weaving. I do it for all my friends and family and stuff like that. But the skill level for me to do that is pretty high, especially with just weaving and stuff. And I've had a ton of people ask me,
how long did it take you?
Dude, it took me forever, especially to match the size of your wrist. And your wrist grows, it shrinks, you know. When you're working out, a lot more blood coursing through it, it's going to be different. That's just the way how it goes. And I mean, I think being able, and when it comes to EDC gear, like, paramount thing about EDC gear is making it to fit all situations so that you wear it, you leave the house with it, and that's just how it is. And that's, I feel
Yeah.
like most of CRKT's gear addresses that concern of mine, in that they want you to wear it, and it's going to be multifunctional. It's going to be stylish in this case. I think they look good. Black's a very subdued color. It's not going to draw too much, attention to yourself. So I don't know, man. I've been really digging on CRKT lately, and when Ben kind of came over to CRKT and he started working with them, it really kind of changed the tide for me because I have a big preference for Ben. No, he's just done a great job with marketing, and I've really been able to kind of explore all the different blades and gear and stuff because he's really gone at it with the YouTube channel, and I respect him as a reviewer, and I respect him as just somebody who creates content. So yeah, that's kind of end of rant number 2.
No, that's a good rant. So those were kind of the big ones that I wanted to show you.
Yeah, definitely.
While I'm sitting here, let me show you this one. You were talking EDC, and you were talking... I just have, knives everywhere.
Dude, that's, the best problem to have. I wish I had that problem.
So, while we're talking about James Williams, you're talking about EDC. This is kind of the convergence of your tactical EDC... Don't get the crap kicked out of your knife, I guess.
Yeah. It can serve as a defensive blade if you need it to.
Exactly.
Obviously, you don't want to shank some dude with a knife because that's crazy, but if you need to, if you absolutely need
there you go.
That's the blade.
There you go. So this one's called the Shizuka no Ken. It's the little brother to the Otanashi no Ken. Just a solid little blade. And again, we're looking at EDC here. We're looking at self-defense. We're looking at how do you protect yourself, but how do you get it out of the house with you, too? This one's super thin, got a deep carry pocket clip, and this is the kind of blade that you're going to walk out of the house with. For me personally, I'm more of a small knife guy. I carried this one for a few weeks, enjoyed it, and you don't notice it in the pocket. Some of these bigger blades, for instance, the Fossil's a bigger knife. Some guys like bigger knives. But for me, I kind of look for smaller. I look for... What is going to be useful? I work in an office. It's not like I'm out chopping trees. I'm not out...
Or stabbing dogs.
Not out stabbing dogs. Not this week at least. Last week maybe.
Last week. Shanking pups.
Shanking pups.
All right, let's talk about this. This right here, you do it, man. Do justice.
Yes, sir. This is the Machete. It's got a 1075 high carbon steel on it. You got a hammer finish. And this is a Leon Ma design, and I gotta say, the thing about Leon Ma that I love is when he designs handles, when he designs knives, here's another good example, they fit. He's really got ergonomics down. There's a book that I enjoy, I'd highly recommend it. It's called The Design of Everyday Things. And basically the premise of this book is that a lot of design is not built to human specifications.
Right.
It's built to whatever the designer wants to do versus what a human actually...
It's more artistic.
Yeah. So what I love about Leon Ma, and I think these are two good examples of that, is his knives have that artistic factor, but then when you get them in hand, when you start using them, you're like, wow, he really thought about why is this way? I mean, aesthetically, how does it look? But at the same time, how does it feel? And I think the Machete is a good example of that. This handle, it's a walnut handle, feels super good in hand. You got great fit and finish between the handle and that full tang piece of steel. And it just feels right. You've got the finger choil there.
Yeah.
You got that big handle, but it just feels right in hand. You can see my hand, when I'm choked up, comes to about there. So if you've got big meat hook sort of hands, you've got a lot of space there. At the same time, I can choke down, and that's going to give me a lot more leverage. Yeah. You can see it's an upswept blade, and so that's going to give you a lot more leverage as well when you're using this blade. Just a great little piece from Leon Ma called the Machete.
Definitely. One of the things I really like about the Machete, aside from the fact, it's from CRKT, who's like a local company here, is just the way that it's made, man. He really captured, this thing looks like something you'd find, in a hut.
Yeah.
And this is, something that has worked. Maybe this is, some generational freaking machete some dude and his grandpa and his grandpa's grandpa has been cutting down trees with forever. I love that hammer finish.
That hammer finish is awesome.
That is so sick.
Yep.
The high polished blade. And 1075, as far as 1095, maybe not as superior, but I mean, dude, it's a machete. It's for beating.
Yep.
1095. I mean, it's obviously like a more premier carbon steel. 1075 is what you use for chopping. Yep. That's, most axe heads and stuff like that, it's 1075.
Yep.
And the way that this is done, the quality control on the few that we pulled have been exceptional.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess quality control when it comes to that hammered finish is kind of like an oxymoron. But I mean, dude, it is so sick. Like, you guys have to go to a store, go Blade HQ, Walmart. I don't know, whoever else has this blade, check it out. It is so sick, man. Yes. I am like jonesing for one of those guys. So, yeah, and I mean, it looks great.
It's a cool piece. And again, it's just that whole idea of taking a designer's piece and recreating it in a form that you can afford, that I can afford. I'm not making bank. I doubt you're making bank. Maybe you are.
Dude, no, I'm not.
You didn't show up with a film crew today, so I'm going to assume you're not making bank.
Nope, not making bank at all. But I pretty much just do this for fun and for you guys and for blades. I just love it.
So that's the thing, is you can afford it, and it's within your price range. It's within your middle class income.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, kind of hearkening to the old, I guess not old, but I mean the thing I said, a few minutes ago, man. If I were to go and buy that blade from like Benchmade or Tops or Essie, I love Essie knives. They're great blades. Sure. I wouldn't want to thrash it as much because I like resale value. I like trading and exchanging blades, and pretty much all I'm doing is taking money out of my pocket. That I would have no problems thrashing because it looks like thrashed,
Totally.
Not to say quality control's bad, but the thing is that's the style.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a thrasher. That gives me confidence that I'd be able to do what I need to do. That's how awesome this thing is. And I mean, like I said, I'm not paid. I am in no way affiliated with these guys, aside from the fact that, they've put like a roof over my head for the next 30 minutes. But it is sick. Sick.
There you have it.